What's going on, Facebook? I'm just here to kind of go over, the home buying process. I get so many messages literally daily about, what it takes to buy a home. Where do I start? So I figured I'd just squash it and kind of, just let everybody know from a realtor standpoint what it takes to buy a home, kind of what we do, and then what the lenders do. So I have a couple lenders who are going to be joining me, and I'm going to add them here in a minute. And they've been doing lending for a long time. They're licensed in Florida just like me. They know more about the financing side than I do, so we're going to do a split screen interview with them. It's going to be Laura and Cory, and when they show up, I'm going to add them in. But I wanted to kind of give you there she is, a background on, give me one second, I haven't ever done this. Lindsay might have to come in and help. So with lenders, it's just if they're in Florida, they can literally serve anybody in Florida. That's what their license, is good for. So give me one second. Is watching. It's not asking me to add you, Laura. Maybe that. There we go. I believe. Connecting. There they are. Hey guys.
Hey, how are you?
You guys hear me?
Hi, Nick. Yep, we hear you.
All right, I got to turn my phone up here. All right, so this is Laura and Cory, and they're local lenders here in our market, but they can literally service a loan anywhere. I've had people from Spring Hill messaging me asking how they could buy a house. I've sold new builds there. I sold some of my father-in-law Joe's properties, and that would be Lindsay's dad. If we're licensed in Florida, we can literally help anybody in Florida. I only have access to a certain area to where I can list properties, but when it comes to purchasing, we can do it anywhere. So it's a misconception when someone's like, hey, even I'm sure you guys get it all the time as lenders, someone down in Miami, they're probably like, you probably can't help me because you're, in Southwest Florida, so I wanted to kind of just go over the whole process of buying a home, how it works, how credit works, and all that. So I'm just going to start off by letting you guys introduce yourself with your background in lending and kind of give us an idea how you guys roll. What you guys do on a daily basis.
Sure. Like Nick said, I'm Laura, and I have been in the mortgage business for approximately 20 years. 8 of that was my own mortgage company, and that was in Indiana. I also owned an insurance company along with my mortgage company because those two kind of go hand in hand. And then I relocated in 2015 full-time to Southwest Florida. So I've been working for Finance of America Mortgage here in Southwest Florida it'll be going on 3 years.
Awesome.
So, and then last year I brought Cory, who happens to be my son-in-law, on board as well. So I'll let Cory tell you about him.
Yeah. Hey guys. Like Laura said, she brought me on board full-time a little over a year ago. But we have a long history together. This isn't the first time that we've worked together. I actually was an insurance agent in her agency for about 2 years, and then I purchased the agency and owned for 4 before we moved down here to Florida about the same time. It's been going on 3 years now. We've been in Southwest Florida. And then we worked hand in hand. She did mortgages and I did insurance. I came down to Southwest Florida and she talked me into getting my mortgage license, and the rest is history. So
there you go.
Been working together.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I get so many messages a day. A lot of them are about how do I become a realtor, but a lot of them are about the home buying process. And a lot of people feel like they're not ready to buy a home. You know what I mean? Or it's not that they're ready. They just don't think they're ready when they actually have the credit score, the income, and everything they need. But they're kind of scared to go out and find out, and I kind of wanted you guys to explain the process of starting to figure out if you can buy a home or if you can't, you know? So if you guys can cover that, that'd be awesome.
Yep, sure. So really, your first step is always going to be to contact your lender. You know, give us a call, and what we're going to do is we're going to ask a series of questions. We're going to touch upon credit. We're going to touch upon assets, and we're going to touch upon really about the length of job history that you have. So a lot of people think, oh my gosh, if I only have, you know, a 640 credit score, I'm not going to be able to do something. Well, that's not true. We look at everything together. So somebody may have a lower credit score, but have some assets. You know, that's helpful. So typically, you know, just not talking about specifically credit scores, but we can go down to a 580, you know, if need be. Yep. But the first step really is just approaching your lender, giving a call. Most people have online apps that are super easy to fill out. I know we have one. We send you a link, boom, you fill it out. Information comes back to us. We pull credit. We take a look at it, give you a call, go over your numbers. Super important to know, you know, how much do I qualify for before I go out with Nick, my realtor, and start looking at homes that might be more expensive than what I qualify for. And then, Nick, it's a tough job for you.
Exactly. And you know what? Most people come to you at, you know, they're like, I already pay $1,500 a month in rent. You know, and they're like, I want to buy a house that's going to be around $1,500. And the great thing is that Laura and Cory can actually look at your finances, and then I have to find you a property that matches your budget with insurance and taxes, because that all gets rolled into your payment. So, you know, that's the great thing. If you have a bottom line, this is what I want to spend a month because I'm already spending this, then that's where they can help you kind of guide you to what type of property it is and the price point that we need to be focusing on, right?
Most definitely. And another thing too that we tell borrowers all the time is when you're looking at properties, make sure you're paying attention. How much are the property taxes? Does it need flood insurance?
Yep.
You know, what's insurance going to run? Because that's going to change your payment much more than if you go up $5,000.
Exactly.
In sale price. So if those taxes are lower, you can typically go up a little bit more in your sale price. So it's important to get in contact with your lender first, keep in close contact simultaneously as you're searching for a home.
And another thing is communication is like the best thing ever when it comes to doing this, because you're looking at spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a huge transaction. And that's why we're doing this, is kind of trying to teach everybody that, you know, I'm not just working for me or with, you know, by myself. I'm working with the lender. You know what I mean? Like, we talk at least once a week, you know. What do you guys do to kind of keep people in the know so that they are understanding exactly what they need to be doing during the whole process?
Well, I'm going to let Cory touch on this, because I think that we have such an awesome process of what we do through the whole mortgage process to keep everybody in the know. And Cory is a big piece of this on our team.
Yeah, so what we do is, like you said, communication is like the golden key when it comes to buying a home and making sure someone doesn't feel super overwhelmed.
Yep.
One of the things that we do is we have a Monday update, and we update our customers and let them know exactly where they're at in the process. And usually it's big milestones, like if your file just went into processing or it's moving into underwriting, and we touch upon like what they should be looking for to happen at that point in time. And we also reach out to both realtors. So not only the buyer's realtor, but also the listing agent, just so those sellers know exactly where we're at too. And we found that really through that process, it's smooth. I mean, we very rarely have bumps in the road because everyone knows exactly what we're doing.
Awesome. That's perfect. They also supply a cool like roadmap that kind of breaks down exactly what you guys you know, will go through, and it includes the realtor on there too. If you guys want that emailed to you, just throw a 3 in the comments, and I'll shoot you an email. Also, if you're watching this live, put a 1 in the comments, and then if you're rewatching it, put a 2 in the comments, so we know who's watching us live and who isn't. Another thing that I see come up, and it hasn't personally happened to me and my clients because of my communication with them, but give me some examples of what can kill a deal. You know, something that a buyer could do during the loan process that just says, you're done. We're not going to be able to lend to you anymore?
Well, go out and buy a Mercedes maybe during the process,
Exactly.
because that's happened one time.
Yeah. So that has happened for you guys before. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We still were able to do it.
Yeah.
But it was tough. It was tough. So we ask, definitely refrain from any big purchases while you're going through the mortgage process. We want to make sure that the credit that we've pulled, that's all the credit that's out there. We don't want to be surprised towards the end when we do a credit refresh at the end with a credit inquiry that shows up. So that would be number one, is don't make any huge purchases. Don't change jobs midstream.
Right.
Hold on that. So even if you have one that you're thinking you're going to be switching to, hold off till you're finished with the closing. On that. Refrain from closing any credit cards, using credit cards excessively.
That's good to know. Don't close any. Okay. That's good.
Right. That can drop your score.
Yep.
Don't go out and do like credit inquiry to purchase furniture before you move, even if it's 0 interest or anything like that. Refrain from that. Wait until after we actually close. And I don't know what else, Cory. Can you think of anything else that we need?
No, I think that's a great, everything she touched upon is perfect. We always say, like, during that process, that 30-day to 45-day process, you want to play it as safe as possible. Yeah. So anything that's going to cause any red flags you just want to avoid. I mean, you're making a huge financial purchase. Yep. So just wait until we're done. I mean, everyone gets real excited. Like, they want to buy furniture, like she said. Right. They start thinking about all the things they want to do to their house. Carpet, flooring, anything like that, just hold off until we close.
Another thing too, I want to say is before the mortgage process, refrain from a whole bunch of deposits going into your bank account. That then we have to go back and source all those and show where they came from. I know sometimes you can't help it based on what your job is, or maybe if you're a server or something, sometimes it's hard there because you're depositing. But like depositing cash doesn't work for us at all. That's really hard. We have to back that out. So anything like that is difficult if there's lots of deposits. And it gets frustrating for the borrower, but across the board, we have to do that with everyone.
Yeah, and usually with that, I mean, literally all you have to do is write a letter explanation, correct? And send that to you most of the time?
Mm-hmm. If it can be avoided, that's better.
Yeah,
if it can't work because of your job, then yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think, what is the minimum time frame someone, if they just got a new job, to purchase, what do you feel like the time frame of that would be?
Typically what happens there is if it's in the same line of work, 30 days is what we look for. So before we can close, we have to have 30 days of pay. So 30 days of pay stub before we can actually close.
Nice.
So, so that process takes a little while to get, through. Yeah. So by the time we get through that, you might have your 30 days. And that's if it's in the same line of work. If it's not the same line of work, we have to look at that independently and see what type of work it is.
Okay.
And how different it is.
Awesome. So can you give us a kind of a broad spectrum of the type of loans that are out there? Because I mean, obviously people know there's FHA, there's VA, which would be, service members. FHA, there's a lot of people that think an FHA loan is first-time home buyers. You know what I mean? Do you guys hear that a lot? Because
right, we do. It's a huge misnomer.
And so can you kind of cover the difference between FHA, first-time home buyer, grant loans, like those three loans? Because I really get asked about those a lot, because a lot of time people want to keep the money in their pockets and have, if the government's giving grant money for them to use as a down payment, that way they keep more money in their pocket. But I obviously know those APRs are a little bit higher. But can you guys just kind of cover the differences between those three loans?
Yep, sure. So on our FHA loans, the FHA is typically for the buyer that wants to put the least amount of money down, because on FHA, your minimum amount is going to be your 3.5%. They are a little bit more forgiving with credit score. And it just is a little bit more forgiving on your debt to income ratios. So we can do sometimes a little bit more that way too as well. FHA, we have the bond program, the Florida bond, that can go with FHA. There's the Florida grant. The bond program is a program that's paid back. Bonds you pay back, grants you do not. payback. That grant program that we have goes with the conventional loan.
Okay.
So that's the 3% down conventional. And that's a great product as well too.
For sure.
And then we also have another product that's super cool. It's it goes with an FHA loan, and it's called our Chenoa loan. And that loan provides you with your down payment as a second mortgage. So it's a first and second mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the FHA, when you're dealing with the bonds, loans, and the grants, you're dealing with income limitations. So you have to fit within the income limitations. On our Chenoa program, we offer one that does fit into the income, and it provides you 0 interest on your second mortgage. And if you're over the income limits and still want to go FHA, it provides you the second mortgage, and it's just a repayable at an interest rate.
Gotcha.
So it provides a lot of options for somebody that just, might be out there paying rent, and it's very hard to save up for a down payment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult. Your rent is probably more than what your mortgage payment's going to be.
Yep. And I just want to tell a little story about someone I helped. She's from here, from Cape Coral. She did the grant loan, and I helped her get closing costs too. So I helped the seller pay for closing costs. So literally, this is just me talking. I don't want to give too many numbers, but it was just over $1,500 what she had to pay to buy a 4-bedroom house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Nick, I love to hear that.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. When I lived in Indiana and did lending in Indiana, the realtors did that a lot, like all the time. Like the FHA buyers really could get in for, minimal amount down. And it was great to see. It was awesome to see. So I love to hear that for you. I love that.
And the coolest thing was she's a single mom, has one child, and she literally was crying because I helped her do this, because she did not think that she was ever going to be able to buy a house. Now she owns a 4-bedroom home, and is like the happiest ever, So Laura and Cory,
awesome.
Yeah, too. You know what I mean? And what I say from me getting a seller to help pay closing costs, so say a seller owns a home outright for $200,000, okay? And that seller is going to profit all of that money other than the closing costs that they pay. So say I get them to pay an extra $5,000 to a buyer, that money really never exchanges hands, right? You guys just take it from the lending side, give it to the buyer, and then that washes some of the buyer's closing costs to where they have to put less money down. So that's how it works, and that's what we are here to do with negotiating. Like, that's what I do. I'm a negotiator, and I'm really good at it. And so if someone needs help with that, we can help with that too, But I just want to thank you guys. Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on that I missed maybe, or anything you guys want to?
No, I think for the Chenoa program, real quick, the one thing that I was able to help somebody with, and I think is really cool too, because it's a demographic that doesn't really get that much help. But what Laura said is when they're over that threshold, when they're over that median income. So for example, if there's a family together that maybe makes $100,000, there's not a lot of bond programs or grant programs that are out there to help them. And they don't have money for a down payment. We can still help with the Chenoa program.
Awesome. So what they're saying is, so you're saying it would have to be a combined income if they're married, obviously, right?
No, what he's saying is if their combined income, or even if it's a single person and they're making $90,000 a year, they're not going to qualify for a bond or a grant because their income is too high.
Of course.
But maybe they still don't have a down payment.
Okay.
We have the solution for that. Our Chenoa program, it works for that too.
That's great. So one question on that then, on the grant loan or the bond loan, when you are pulling getting everybody's info together, and say you have a married couple and they make $90,000 combined, you guys take that combined income and use it, correct? You couldn't just take a single person if they're married and use it?
Each one of the programs has different guidelines that we have to follow for that. So there's some that we can, some that we can't.
Okay.
And so that's where we just have to look and see, okay, which product best suits them and works best for them. I just met with a couple on Monday and went over all 3 of them to let them to decide which one is the best one that works for you.
Cool.
And then, kind of gave them the pros and cons of each one.
Yep.
And then they decided, and then that's what we went with. So there are tons of options out there. There's all kinds of new products we get weekly,
Sure.
all the way from some of our jumbos that are super awesome out there to some lower documentation type loans. We're coming out with some foreign national new products as well too that we're going to training this week or later next week.
Nice.
It is.
Well,
So,
give me a call about
yeah,
for sure. Always
Yep.
learning. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
And we'll have to do this again sometime.
Sounds
All
great.
right.
All right.
All right.
Sounds awesome.
See ya.
Keep on
Take
Bye-bye.
killing
care.
it.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yeah.